What's up, you guys? So, I've had a bunch of guitarists recently ask me, how do I have all of this craziness and have it wired so I can turn one on and just play? So, I will show you. So, one thing that you'll always see is just a random cable, and I have them actually plugged into the front just because it visually is easier for me to see. So these jacks are actually connected to this is the speaker cable. So this is connected to the back. They're all set to 8 ohm. So even though I have this Mesa 412, this Marshall 212 with V30s, this Mesa 412, this Marshall 412, that Marshall 412, this Marshall 412. For the most part, I'll usually use these three just because they're loaded with V30s. So to make my life easier, because of course this is always to make my life easier, I in fact have one jack, and I will show you. Let me just unplug it. Damn you. Disconnect. Okay, so this cable here is a dedicated speaker cable, and I currently have this plugged into that Mesa 412 with V30s. So what I end up doing is when I want to use an amp, I will, for instance, my Soldano / Jet City, I have this. This was the last amp that I used. So I just take it, plug it in, and I'm good to go. So for instance, if I wanted to use my Cherrytone Yeti, which is this one right here, with the Marshall badge, I would just disconnect this, plug this back in just as a reminder, and keep in mind that I'm a psycho in making sure that everything is off and I don't accidentally turn this on, which feeds the output back into the input of the head. So I would disconnect the Yeti, plug in this 1/4-inch jack, which runs to my guitar right there, right? And then this connects to here. And this cable, dude, is literally, I think it's 25 feet or 30 feet. I'm pretty sure it's 25 feet. So it's more, there's more than enough length to go from this cabinet to all of these amps here and be completely fine. There's my EVH that I threw up there. So here's the problem that I have, and this is, I guess, what a lot of people are always asking me is, dude, how do you figure out what you're going to use? Because I'm not a recording studio, I literally just use my amps one at a time. I don't reamp, so there's no need for me to keep everything on. Now, that being said, if you are a studio, want to have a studio, want to reamp for other bands or your friends' music, then you want to use some kind of a switcher. And for the most part, everyone that I know uses KHE switchers. So they have, listen, so there's 4, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 amps. And I still have to get my Mesa triple rectifier and my PV 6505. So, and my Fender M80, which is over here back in the back. So I have a lot of amps. But for the most part, for me, I would want to get the KHE 16.4, right? So I can plug in 16 heads and 4 cabinets, and I think they make a 16.8 also. So in the end, you literally would just have everything on, and just with the flip of a switch, you literally just tab which cabinet you want to use. I have a VHT fat bottom that I suddenly fell in love with now. That has Eminence speakers, so I could literally utilize the V30s from this cabinet. I can utilize the G7512s from this one. The Eminence, this Randall here, 412, has Celestion 7080s, which some people don't like. It actually sounds great. So I'll never knock 7080 speakers. They're inexpensive, but they have a great voicing. So that is how I have gone ahead and set everything up. So guys, if you run into the same issue I run into, where you're trying to figure out what the heck to do with all of your amps, and you don't want to go the crazy route, which is the Louis route, which is all of that craziness and not necessarily knowing what the heck to do with powering everything. That's kind of my Brooklyn way of going around the main issue I have, which is not having a switcher. Do not do what I do. I'm telling you, I will put a link below to KHE Audio's website. And if you have a number of amps, and dude, they have 4 2s, so you can have 4 heads and have access to 2 different cabinets with different voicings, and you'll be all set. So I have to, my life is literally unplug, plug, unplug, plug. Which one do I want next? Unplug, plug. Okay, which cabinet do I want? And then the issue is there's 2 ways that I go about it now. One is I can actually get behind that 500-pound rack of a stack and unplug that long cable from this cabinet and say put it in my Marshall back here with G75 Ts. Or, and this is kind of the issue that I have with the cables that I currently have back there, is they're not really speaker cables. Like this is, where is it? Where the heck is it? Did it fall to the back? Okay, so I'll show you the difference between these guys. That one, where did I just put it? Anyway, so this is kind of the other cable that I have. So this is basically a typical 16 AWG wire or cable with a 1/4 inch female at the end. You can get away with that, but the issue then comes with, where the heck did that cable go? I think it just fell back here. Okay, so this gauge is significantly thicker. I mean, there's a huge difference between the two. You can probably see it right here. Huge difference between the two of them. I mean, one's literally the size, the thickness of your ring finger, and the other one is like a skinny little pencil. So this one, if I use it, because it's actually plugged into this Mesa 412, I'll only use it for a short period of time, just because I don't want there to be too much heat going through or creating too much heat through that thinner cable, as opposed to this one, which is, let's see, this is 18? No, what does that say? Hold on. I can't tell if it says 16 or 18. What does this one say? This one's 16 AWG. This one can't be this has to be 18 AWG. So by Curlin. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely a little harder to plug and unplug and make sure that you have the right cable. And when these things are kind of heavy, so hauling them and moving them out to change the cable in the back is kind of a little crazy. But yeah, dude, KHE Audio makes the best switchers. I mean, there's so many guys that I know that have just been like, bro, stop messing around. Just get yourself a switcher. And for the most part, I'm talking about guitarists who are in huge, not even national bands. They are in international bands where they're touring Europe, they're touring Japan, South America, North America, the entire EU. So they, for the most part, when they're home are using KHEs because they feel that it makes their life easier. So guys, click on the link below. In the description, I'll have a link to KHE Audio. Again, do not do what I do because it will drive you a little batty, a little crazy, without a doubt. And guys, thank you so much for subscribing. If you have not subscribed, hit the subscribe button right here. And for all of you guys who constantly watch my crazy channel, thank you so much. You guys are the best. And hopefully you guys had an incredible Wednesday. And as usual, this guy will talk to you soon.